Hello everybody, welcome back to the 14th Python tutorial video. Today we're going to go over functions, which are pretty much one of the biggest things you'll learn. They're a very easy way to be able to run through calculations and prevent yourself from writing a ton of code. So I'm going to show you an example right here. This is the function, this is the syntax for a function. Basically, a function just runs code and then returns something, or it doesn't have to return something, but it still just basically just runs code. And it all goes under one simple name and these brackets, which are used to hold parameters, but if there are no parameters, well, I'll get to that. So this is syntax. What you're going to do is def, that's comes from the word define, but it's like saying define. You're defining, and then whatever name you want your function to be. And then in here, in these parentheses, is where the parameters are going to be. Now that's going to come in later, but that's basically what you're going to do. So in here, you're going to write the code that's going to run out in the function. So right here I just have print, this is what the function does. Now, you might be thinking, what do I do now? What's so great about this function? Well, this function, I'm actually able to, in order to do whatever this is, whatever is in here, all I have to do is call the function. So I just have to say function name and then parentheses. I don't have to write out this whole print statement. I can just write out function name and then parentheses. So I'm actually going to write it twice just to show you what an advantage it has. So you might be asking, well, why don't I just write this print statement whenever I have to write it out? Because that's a simple way to do it. Well, this is just saving you some time, saving you some coding. It also makes your code a lot more organized, because if you know where something goes wrong, if it says on line 16 something goes wrong, then you know it goes to function name, and then you know something in the specified function went wrong. So I'm just going to run it now. So basically in the console here it says this is what the function does, and then it says it again. So it says this is what the function does twice. So that's really that. I just wrote that out twice without having to write the print statement twice. So that's going to save you some time to code. But let's say you want to do something a little bit more complicated. So the first thing I'm going to show you is this up here. So I've defined this function hello right up here, and it doesn't take any parameters, so you don't have to do anything, and it basically returns it turns the user input of what do you want to say, and then this right here, this is dot upper. If you put any string, and then you put dot upper or dot lower on the end with these parentheses, it'll make it either all uppercase or all lowercase. That's really helpful. So I'm gonna print and then the function. So you can print, basically the function will return a string. It'll return whatever you're gonna tell it, dot upper, so the uppercase version of what you're gonna tell it. So basically right here we're gonna print a string. I know you're printing, a function that runs, but you're really printing a string because it returns a string. So I'm just going to do it right here. What do you want to say? Hi guys. So, and then it says hi guys in uppercase. And now this function right here, I haven't shown you it yet, but it's called the Scramble Function. Now, basically what it does, it takes something, this is our first function that takes something as a parameter. It takes a string as a parameter. Now, I'm going to show you, I'm not actually going to show you how to write it first, but I'm going to show you what it is that we need to do down here and why the parameter matters. So down here, we're not just writing, you know, print scrambled string and then scramble. We're not just doing that because, and the good thing about Spider is the coding IDE. So when you write that, as you can see, as arguments, scramble, and then inside the parentheses, you need scramble string. So you need to give it something in order for it to return something. So you have to give it, what I made it here is that you have to give it a string. So basically I'm having it say, okay, input, enter a string, scramble. That's the string we're going to give it. So we're basically making it so that the user input is the string that we give it, and then we take the string and we scramble it. So I'm just going to show you that we're entering a string to scramble. So I'm going to say, hi guys, again, and the string has been scrambled. It says GGI. It's same length. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. As you can see, it's 7 letters, but it's all scrambled. It's all using some of the letters from this original string. So, I mean, you can go through the code right here. It says, so I'm basically going through every character of the string that you give it, and I'm adding, now this is something that we haven't seen before, that I haven't shown you guys. You can take a specific character from a string by doing something like this. So watch up here. I can do x equals, you know, hello, and let's say I want to get the h. So let's say x dot index. So this is going to be how you get the index value of a certain character in a string. So you might be thinking, okay, well, where does the index value start? What is an index value? So an index value is what position a certain character or a certain number is in the string. So it's a number. It starts from a 0. So the index of h is 0. The index of e is 1. Index of this L is 2, this index of this L is 3, and the index of this O is 4. Now, if we want to take the index of H, then we can say we're printing the index of H. I'm just going to go through this code right here. It says 0 because there are 5 letters, there are 5 characters in this string. But since the index starts at 0, it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so now we know how to get an index value. Now let's take a letter using the index value. So I'm going to print and then x of 0. Now that's going to mean it's the index value of 0. Whatever's in the index value of 0 in the string, that's what we're going to, of this string right here, x, that's what we're going to return. So I just need to stop this code right here. Now let's run it. What do you want to say? Whatever. And now, as you can see down here, it says hi, and it says h. And h is the character with the index value of 0. So this is going to come useful also in the next video when we go through arrays, because they kind of work like strings. They also have index values, and they also have, you know, you run through it the same way you'll run through a string. But so basically, I'll explain the code now. Basically what we're doing is we're going through the string, going through every letter of the string, and now we're not using the letter of the string, because this I right here, for every time it goes through the string, this I will be set to a specific letter. But we didn't really care about that letter because we're trying to scramble this string. So we're taking a new string, as I've named it right here, and we are adding some, so we're adding some character of scramble string, as you can see right here, from the string being before the brackets, and as we know, that's how you get the index, or that's how you get the character at a certain index value of the string. Now, I've put in here random.randint, which if you can remember from a couple of videos back, is how you take a random integer. So we're taking a random integer from 0 to, right here, it says the length of scramble string minus 1. Now you might be asking, well, why are we doing the length of our string minus 1? Why are we going through, its length minus 1? Don't we have to go through just the length? Well, basically, the length does not work like the index values. The index values might count from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but the length is still 5. The length of hello is still 5, but the index values only go up to 4. So if we did the integer of 0 to 5, and we did scramble string, and then in the brackets it had 5, there is no index value of 5 inside scramble string, so we can't exactly take that value, and it would return an error. So that's why we're doing that, and we're taking all the random characters and putting it into new string, and basically just making a new string with the same length of the string that we gave it, but it uses the same characters, but they're all scrambled. So I know it was kind of long, maybe a little confusing, but that's just explaining how to use a parameter. You're going to take something, you're going to use it or modify it, and you're going to return something else, or not return something else. It's important to know that you don't really need to return anything, but in our case, we're going to return something because we want to get an output. So let's just go through it again, just showing that it works. And we're going to enter a string to scramble, so I'm going to say, what's up, the fox jumps over the lazy dog. And now, as you can see, it uses a bunch of different letters. Might be a little bit hard to see because you can't zoom in the console, but it's just a bunch of random letters, a bunch of random spaces, things that looked like they came from the language of goblins. Like there's a couple of apostrophes where wouldn't even make out to be words, but as you can see, there's really huge potential for using things like, going through index values of a string and using functions. And really, this only really took us a couple lines of code. Depending on how you look at it, the only real thing we're doing is doing this print statement, and then it's just running through this code. So I can use this scramble statement however many times I want, and it really cuts back on the amount of coding I'm going to do, because if we didn't have functions like this, I'd have to write out this code over and over and over again if I wanted to use it more than once. But now that I've got a function, I can take this print statement and I can copy paste it however many times I want to, and I don't have to write that one function over and over and over again. So that's a full review of what functions are, how they're useful. They're going to become a lot more useful because in the next video we're going over arrays, which are probably the most important thing in every programming language, depending on who you ask. But once we get through that video, this code that I wrote a while ago, it'll become a lot more readable. I mean, you're seeing I'm using functions over here. I'm also using arrays, but you know, you can understand this statement now. You can understand. Well, you can't understand a lot of it because we haven't gone through arrays yet, and then we haven't gone through multi-dimensional arrays, which those can be fun depending on what you do with them. So yeah, I hope that wasn't too confusing, but these are really useful, and look forward to the next video. So thank you for watching. Goodbye.